and repetition, really.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Do you use any mixing templates?
I'm actually bad. I should have templates, but I don't. But I'm also like, literally all I do is this all day long. So like I'm pretty fast and I just like set it up on the fly. But the biggest reason I don't is because my computer seems to like mess up when I have a full template and I end up deleting so much stuff anyway because I don't need it, you know? And to be real with you, dude, my mixing style is so like mostly EQ and a little compression. Like I'm not really, I'm a very minimalist mixer.
Yeah.
In that
I mean,
way.
you don't need much, right? Like, especially if the arrangement is good. If you're not piling on too many things, and you know, everything is in its right place, as you kind of said, like, oh yeah, you're thinking about all these instruments in these frequency zones. That's like most of the battle, right? Then it's just about getting a good balance.
Yeah.
And, you know, a little bit of compression.
Yeah, no, that's key.
day.
That's one thing that you just said, though, that's so key, though, too, that I didn't even realize is like, yeah, like the frequency range, too. That's a big part of it because mixing becomes difficult when you have five things in the same frequency range. If it's arranged well, the production arrangement to where like, you know, you have, like I said, something 1 to 300, something 5 to 700. And like you're just taking elements that are only in that frequency range. And like, I'll literally even say sometimes I'll be like, what does this need? It's not quite full yet. And I'm like, where haven't I put anything? Right? Oh, there's nothing at 10K. There's nothing at 2K. And that's how you know where to put something, you know? So.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not overdoing it with all this, you know, if you don't have 10 guitars playing the same part, you know, like it's much, much easier to kind of make room for everything. That's the struggle is like I recently did a mix where I like had to really I was told to make it warm and open. But a lot of stuff was in the same zone of like, you know, 500 hertz. It was just like, you know, the vocal is with the guitar, is with the, you know, whatever, the percussion. And you just kind of have to, well, listen, like it's going to be, not everything is going to be warm. I have to make this thing a little bit bright so that it meshes nicely. Otherwise, everything is going to be like 500 hertz in your face, you know?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, every mix is different too. It's like a puzzle of just figuring out. But yeah, that arrangement thing is so huge because to be honest, like, that's why my mixing style is so minimal because too, I'm like, when I'm mixing stuff, I've produced it, you know, usually. So like, I've already like been designing it from the beginning. So that's why there's not that much stuff to do, you know, like it's already kind of been mixed along the way. So.
Love it. Do you do anything that helps you work faster?
Definitely like having a good group of sounds that you can go to, like, especially if I'm writing with a new artist that I just know I need to like kill it with. Like I don't want to be looking around for stuff. So having your good, taking time to design some good sounds and have your basic sounds and stuff, I think really makes a big difference, you know? Knowing like I said, but like having your 808, that's like your standard 808 or two of them, and then having your low bed bass that you can pull up in just these staples of it, I think helps a lot. Yeah. And just doing it a lot, man. There's no way around that. You know?
Yeah, you got to put in the hours. Yeah,
the more you do it, the faster you get, you know?
Absolutely. Do you have any favorite creative tools?
I'm obsessed with all of it, bro. I just love this stuff so much. But favorite go-to plugins and stuff?
Yeah.
All right, there's a really cool new one that I've been using called Portal. It's a
Portal.
Yeah. It's is it in Contact? I don't know, but it is sick. It's a granular synthesis plugin. And like which is basically you're like folding the audio into itself in these random algorithm generated ways. It's like what you hear like Flume and people like that do a lot when he has these vocals that are like so crazy. Like, how did he make that? It's because he's using granular synthesis. But like, so that one has been really cool for being creative because you just like throw it on your track and I'll have an audio track running. It's printing this to audio and I'll just start messing with the parameters and doing stuff. And then I go through that and chop it up. But it's sick for like glitches or like really weird pads where I'll have like a guitar, right? Just going like wham, wham, but it's folding into itself so many times in this stuff that it turns into a pad like whump, 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 whump. You know, just crazy. So that one has definitely been fun.
Wow. I have to check that out.
Dude, it's sick.
I feel like Contact is usually sample based. So it's probably like maybe, I don't know, something else.
I don't think it actually is Contact. I don't really know. I can't
Whatever,
remember.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah,
we don't have to get that nerdy.
That one, LFO tool is like my thing. I love that.
What's your favorite LFO tool? Like, or is it just?
I use X for Records. I use the X for Records.
Yeah.
It's literally called LFO tool.
Gotcha.
Distortion too. Oh my god! Like I love like Trash and Fab Filter, Saturn, Valhalla reverbs are my joints. I love those.
Yeah, I use the vintage verb a lot.
Me too, man. That's my go-to.
Yeah, it's everyone's using it, right? Like, it's like funny. There are some tools that just everyone uses. Everyone uses Valhalla verbs. Everyone uses the Pro Q3, and like I don't know, a few others.
Yeah, bro. I'm still rocking that Pro Q2, but I love that EQ. Yeah.
Well, I would recommend getting the Q3. It's worth the upgrade just to have the dynamic mode.
Yeah. I've seen. I have another plugin that does that too, so I've just not used that. But
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be. It's hard for me to work without a dynamic EQ. I was making like a podcast template for somebody who's doing like podcasts, and I was trying to just do it with like stock Logic EQ. I was like, oh my god, I really need that dynamic EQ. I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's legit. I'm going to get that Q3. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's move on to the sauce segment. You sent me a track before we got started called "Burning Sage" by Chandler Juliet, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. So let's have a listen to this song in real time, and we'll talk about what went into it.
Sweet.
Got too overwhelming, so I started running. It stopped being fun and making myself numb isn't helping. I got to learn to deal with the way I feel. If this is reality, don't know what I expected. Just for a moment, I can't put this down. Things are getting crazy, lately I'm in hazy. Oh, and I've been praying someone will come and save me. The birds are flying south, I'm frozen in my doubt. Got no way to go from here, so I'll stick around. Just for a moment, I can't put this down. Baby, just for a moment, drown these voices out. Slow burn, mind is a world away. And I'm not gonna come back for anyone else. And I don't wanna come down and be by myself. Slow burn, stay here and watch the flame. Now I'm focusing on all my breathing, floating on this feeling, burning sage. That was clever, now I'm feeling better. Even though I know that this feeling won't last forever. I tapped into a space, I found my escape that I can come back to anytime I want. Just for a moment, I can't put this down. Just for a moment, drown these voices out. Yeah, slow burn, mind is a world away.
Sick song, dude. Love it. I love those little sound effects. I'm now having heard all your information. I'm assuming there's like a lot of guitars, like the whoop, 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 that little boing sound there in the breakdown.
Are you talking about the dong, dong?
Yeah.
That might be, honestly, it might be a harmonic with some Valhalla on it.
Yeah,
honestly,
sounds super cool.
I'll tell you this though, like all those like guitar reverses and stuff are like with an LFO tool gliding it up like that. And
yeah,
like,
I think I noticed some of that.
Yeah.
It's helpful to actually have talked about all that before even hearing the song. So I feel like I kind of have a deeper picture into it. So anything interesting that you want to talk about with this song specifically?
Sure. Well, this one is a really fun one. It's one of my favorite songs I've done. And it wasn't just me. I co-produced this one and co-wrote this one. So it's one of those sessions where, so when we started the song, me and Chandler were writing it, while McKeldy was starting to get production ideas. Or maybe, I think it started off with the guitar and like I put those like hip hoppy kind of drums down, and then he just started to like go in while we were writing the song. And so the writing of it was really cool too, because it was the first time we ever worked with Chandler, and I had met her. So one thing I didn't mention before, but part of how I kept connected with LA is I would take trips out there for like a month at a time and just do like mad sessions. So I wasn't like completely disappeared. Like I haven't been in a while. But
yeah,
I know, right? Like I can't wait to go visit.
No one's going
year.
anywhere, right?
Yeah. But like, so this was, I had met her at this thing in LA called LASC, which was like a songwriters, like, a really cool like program thing that I used to go to. And so, yeah, it was, so So we had never met each other, and we got into this really deep conversation about like meditation and like our mindsets and about how like, which is a lot. Like I'm very open, as you can tell, and like it's like I'll literally meet someone. And it's just like, hey, like here's my entire life story. Here's yours, you know. But so
sometimes it's actually easier to do that with someone you just met than with someone you've known for a long time.
Yeah,
there is something about that.
It's really interesting, right?
Side conversation.
Like, yeah, no, that's cool. But the cool thing about it was kind of how it all just like came together, because it was just such a vibe, like how the music kind of, we were all having this conversation, and I feel like that conversation really went into the production and to the vibe of the whole thing. Like the song was just like the idea of Burning Sage was like just getting centered in yourself, and like she was feeling like really anxious and worried about a lot of stuff, and I totally identify with that feeling sometimes, and like getting to that place where you're just like meditative, and it was just a really cool vibe, like writing it. And it was also one of those ones where like even McKeldy, we were all just like who's the other producer on it, like we were all just in the zone of that song so hard. And I think that was the coolest thing about the session, you know? I don't know, that's kind of, I don't know if that makes sense, but.
No, it's cool, it's a good story. And you did this over Zoom.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, they might have been in the same room. I can't remember, but I was across the country. Yeah.
Nice. And did you mix it also?
Nope. That one McKeldy mixed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, man. Thanks. The Wub thing was made in Serum, by the way. That's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a cool sound.
Thanks.
I was wondering about that as well. There are a lot of little elements that I was, it's hard to remember so many elements at the end of like listening to it for like 90 seconds that you could like actually talk about all of them. So it's like, but I loved how there's just like little element here, little element there, kind of coming in and out. That was something that I noticed also with Joey and Zach is they also do like these little one-time like little element there that just kind of like, it's like, oh, what was that? I just heard something interesting. You know what I mean?
It's all splice, bro. Just finding those dope little sample moments and then just like throwing them in. That's, yeah.
Yeah, man. I the truth is I don't have Splice, and maybe I should give it a shot, just see what happens. You know,
should mess with it, dude. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, the problem is there's just an infinite amount of things that you could try. Like I don't know. I think we were talking about this at the beginning. Was like just like, well, how do I choose what to do? You know what I mean? Like I'm spending so much time like doing this or that. Like, yeah. I guess enough people have said Splice, enough people have said Ableton. That was probably worth a shot. It's just it would change a lot of my workflow, but maybe I need to be open to that. I don't know.
Yeah, the Splice one I don't think is as crazy as you think. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. I would check it out.
All right, man. And you could pay for it like monthly, right?
Yeah, it's like $10 a month for like a few hundred samples or whatever. And every month I'll just like go and search out sounds and look at the new packs and download some new fresh stuff to use. And it keeps the inspiration fresh too, you know? Because it's like every month or every few months, because I don't usually always do it, but every few months I'll just like rehash and have all these exciting new little riffs or sounds and stuff that I love to use. So
yeah, and you download it and you could use it however many times you want also, I'm assuming.
Yep. And then just change it, make it into your own thing, pitch it down, distort it, phase it out, do whatever to make it your own thing, you know?
Yeah, nice. Can you touch on communication with artists? How to stay on the same page with them in terms of, as the production goes on? How do you meet their expectations, or how do you communicate something that, you know, maybe might be difficult?
Ooh, yeah. Here. So when I'm like going in to write something with someone else, I definitely like talk to them about what they're going through and like really try and center in on like, you know, it's very easy to just go in a direction of a song. But I feel like when you start, you could come up, if you're two good people in a room, you could come up with an idea and go off of it. But I always try and go off of something that's really close to them or to me. If writing for me or whatever, like finding something that's real, you know? And I think if you go off that, it's easy to communicate. And then just being very like, just listening to and being open. Like a lot of times people, when I'm in sessions with people, whether it's producers or writers, like they make suggestions that I'm not sure about at first. And then I listen to it like a day later and I'm like, that is so good. Like so good, you know? So like, I kind of go with the rule of if someone's feeling pretty strongly about something, especially if it's the artist and it's their song, you have to like serve the artist's vision. But like, if it's even a group effort thing, like if someone feels strongly that something is like, go with it. Let him go with it, you know? And like, and then same thing. If you really listen to it later and you're like, you know, I'm really not sure about this, bring that up or whatever. But I think that's where the magic is like letting people be open, giving them the comfort to be. That's why like starting a conversation about like, what are you going through right now? Like, it's so much it already sets up that like thing of where it's like, I don't even know how to say it, but like you really care about them, and like you guys are really working off of something that's real to them, you know? So I don't know, but yeah, being open is a big one.
I think it's important to, and I've talked about this on the podcast before,